Hello to ShareSync Talks. I'm Esmé Spurling, and today we're going to talk about the private into the public, exploring the impact of social media influencers. So the application of makeup has been explored in numerous ways by beauty influencers on social media. So more recently, the application of makeup and getting ready has been captured on camera by social media influencers to create Get Ready With Me videos. Published on TikTok, these videos are shared globally in a very public domain. And in this research, I'll be engaging with and identify current and active TikTok beauty influencers, exploring how they may challenge intimacy online, whilst further highlighting the blurring of both public and private domains. So in this session today, we're going to critique the use of hashtag Get Ready With Me videos in both the private and the public spheres. We're also going to challenge concepts of authenticity and intimacy that we display online from various social media accounts, and also intimacy in the physical sense. And also, we're going to create new ideas and considerations to social media cultures. So notions of authenticity and reality are challenged by influencers by happily presenting themselves to camera, displaying a form of emotional labour, whilst highlighting the ability to conform to, for the purposes of this research paper, heterosexual beauty standards. Influencers can be seen dressing themselves to camera in their most sexy, but reinforced to still be their casual attire. Fiona Attwood in 2014 reminds us that influencers allow us to consider how media is increasingly part of public and private life, and now has become part of people's daily practices. So the rise of social media influencers has grown to such an extent that changes to the current media industries are constantly being reworked and under review for brands as influencers challenge traditional marketing and advertising through the videos produced from the comfort of their own home. Current marketing and advertising lifestyle habits are being shaped by what we, as an audience to social media, consume online. Social media influencers adopt current trends to highlight a brand or product to their target audience in an authentic style. A current example of how content is deployed online is through the creation of Get Ready With Me videos. Get Ready With Me videos present the social media influencer at the forefront of the camera, typically highlighting a beauty product or getting dressed with barely their set of underwear into a fully sculpted outfit. American model and social media influencer Rocky Barnes has worked with high-profile brands such as Barber, Old Navy, and Wrangler, and through posting through her Get Ready With Me videos on her TikTok, has reached over 3.83 million, according to the Influencer Intelligence in 2024. Accelerating with updates from mobile technology, social media influencers have all the tools that they need to generate quality media content, typically in the form of a smartphone. Influencers have since grown to no longer depend on the expertise of a professional photographer or videographer to generate imagery capturing their chosen lifestyle product or branded item for paid or even unpaid promotion. But instead, influencers work directly with the brand themselves to create the content. Many influencers have been able to generate such work in just their bedrooms with relatively unprohibitive media equipment, such as a ring light and a mobile phone tripod. Crystal Abdin in 2020 highlights that companies have reportedly paid TikTokers up to $20,000 per branded post, according to Influencer Marketing Hub in 2020. Therefore, social media influencers are continuing to challenge the traditional methods of advertising by creating content that is seen by vast audiences, produced by a smartphone as opposed to industry standard equipment. However, the success of the media content that is deployed online is really dependent by the national context that the influencer holds. For example, are they conforming to, and for the purposes of this paper, the female heterosexual standards of beauty? And are they presenting a sense of sexiness to appeal to a higher number of viewers, whilst also meeting the current social norms of what is, according to Riley, Evans and Robinson in 2019, aesthetically valued in contemporary women's bodies, to be published to an online audience in the current media discourse. In this research, I'll be identifying current and active beauty influencers and exploring how they may challenge various forms of intimacy online. Specifically, spaces, whether it be public or private, topics of conversations, the type of conversations that they have to camera to hook their audience in, and their relationships with their audience as well. whilst further highlighting the blurring of both the public and private domains and the wider impacts in relation to the current social media cultures that we see today. For the purposes of this research, 3 main concepts of intimacy that influencers challenge have been identified in order to analyse in depth. These include spaces, where the public and private intermingle on social media platforms, the topics discussed in recorded conversations that have been published online by the influencer themselves, and also relationships between both the influencer and their audience, but also the relationship between influencer and their significant other, and also their families. Get Ready With Me videos will be the main focus, as these viral videos present various forms of intimacy, from the production being predominantly bedroom-based, despite the video to be seen and the intention for it to go viral, to the influencer's discussions to an online audience, and also the visual appearance of the influencer themselves. So Get Ready With Me videos are a popular trend across social media platforms of TikTok, YouTube, and Instagram. And traditionally, in terms of makeup brands, for example, there would be a carefully composed and lit product shot supported by the brand logo and overarching house style in the traditional forms of marketing and advertisement. More recently, however, influencers have performed Get Ready With Me videos to present a series of products whilst discussing daily lifestyle topics with their audiences, often talking directly to camera to directly engage with their viewers. TikTok have responded to the demands of influencers' needs by increasing the length of time a video can be published on the platform by up to 10 minutes in 2022, according to Evans and Riley. For Get Ready With Me videos to become successful, maximum number of views, comments, likes, and shares possible, the influencer must ensure their content comes across as authentic as possible. So conversational, as if discussing directly to a friend. Therefore, the location of the video must also be realistic and is often filmed in either a bedroom or in front of a bathroom mirror. Traditionally, these spaces were once seen as private and domestic spaces of the home and have now been published online for a global audience to view. Michael in 2008 highlighted that media technologies and social networking sites allows users to create and distribute information in easy ways in terms of media production, meaning that the sharing of content online is made much easier because content creators do not require expensive equipment to do so. And today, anyone who wishes to share an idea, feeling, or media content with a vast audience just needs to have an active social media platform or website, as smartphone, to publish and deploy their chosen and curated content. This is possible to achieve because there is limited gatekeeping in terms of what reaches the consumers of a social media platform directly from a native account, for example, on Instagram or TikTok. However, content that is distributed to an online audience through social media platforms' algorithm will shape their experience online, particularly on TikTok, where there is a dedicated For You page. Zully and Zully in 2022 highlight that TikTok's digital structure influences user behavior and shapes networks' publics. Despite the gatekeeping process, one cannot easily expect information to reach the targeted population with absolute certainty. Online participation is, on the other hand, becoming influential in terms of how consumers interpret, gather, receive, and also communicate information to each other and to the public at large. As noted previously, consumers can now be producers, and their content is known as user-generated content, or UGC, as Colin said in 2011. This can also be referred to as original creative content. And with a participatory culture perspective and a lens on this, this is where the online communities share the artistic and creative content of others and further engage on online participation. Consumers create their own content by taking existing work and remixing the visual content according to their own narratives. However, due to the consistent and constant use of the mobile phone, it has become a device that is heavily relied upon during times when the world seems unfamiliar, dangerous, or challenging, said Sharif Mowlabocus in 2016. The mobile phone as a personal technological device has become more integrated into our daily lives and therefore blended into moments of or captured various forms of intimacy, according to Evans and Riley. Despite a tendency to express a preference for digital networks over physical interactions, audiences are still engaging with and viewing intimacy online through the documentation of key milestones in their life. For example, social media influencers publishing still imagery and video clips of gender reveals, engagements, weddings, highlighting substantial purchases, for example, luxury cars or properties. So as mentioned, more recently, and with that increasing amount of dependence on our smartphones, we turn to that device for comfort in both public and private spaces. Mowlabocus in 2016 highlights that the mobile phone acts as a transitional object. He highlights that as a child, the transitional object would tend to be in the form of a soft toy or blanket, and it would help the child embark on a process of self-identification and self-realization. It also offers a site of comfort and stability. In the late 90s, Postman argued that our technologies have transformed our habits of mind, and they have changed the way that we think and our minds work. And now we could argue that more entangled shaping of the self through current technologies presented to us today, for example, augmented reality, features on Instagram and TikTok, and changing our appearance through filters. The importance of this consideration to self-identification and self-realization is drawing upon how frequently a smartphone is in an individual's hand and being utilized to consume media and publish content online. Influencers are working in a competitive and saturated industry where their content must stand out in an attention economy, but also shapes the inequality of the beauty industry to gain the attention of their audience and convert into a social media following. Influencers have the ability to retain high visibility online and attempt to maintain consistent relationships with their audiences, according to Crystal Abdin, through their awareness of their audience's tastes and their own status as an internet celebrity. Social media influencers are turning to more frequently publishing content that is considered intimate, from the physical space in which they produce the media, for example, their bedroom, and also the discussion spoken to camera and sharing really personal details to their vast online audiences. So the concept of discovering self-identity has been explored by multiple theorists as early as the 1940s. So Lacan's register theory identified the imaginary, symbolic, and the real, and Lacan suggests the imaginary is associated with the mirror phase, where a child sees an image of themselves for the first time, and the child creates an ego prior to the social determination. We have created our own imaginary image of ourselves, if we consider this in terms of the idea of the selfie. And today, with the influence of social media applications, convenient use of filters, and AI technology, on many apps on our phones, it has become much easier to transform our image into something that may be perceived as more ideal and accepted by current social norms. Katrin Tiedenberg's research on selfies reinforces the importance of how setting in media content is important. Selfies in locations that seem staged or are inauthentic, and therefore the audience will not respond as well to them, including those that have been used with excessive filters and photo editing. Katrin says that the carefully composed too perfect selfies are inauthentic. Exploring self-identity for any individual, not just influencers, is certainly an intimate topic to consider and experience. The documentation of self-identity occurs through the deployment of media, conforming to current social trends like Get Ready With Me videos, but also documented through image making. And selfies capture that individual facial expression or expressions, especially over time, and therefore creating a visual narrative of a person online and saved and integrated into their social media platform, but also contributing to their digital footprint. So when presenting to camera, particularly during the surveillance of the creation and deployment of Get Ready With Me videos, the influencer will typically have a one-way conversation that has been shaped by the interaction from their audience in the comments of their media posts. For example, viewers on TikTok may request or comment on the platform and relate to the product that the influencer is using. They might ask for style guidance or even asking direct personal questions, such as asking the influencer about their interests, relationships, or physical appearance. So, for example, social media influencer Rocky Barnes frequently posts successful Get Ready With Me videos on Instagram and TikTok, typically highlighting her outfit choices, and describes her plans for the day ahead. In one video posted on TikTok on the 1st of March 2024, A loyal follower of the influencer noticed that she was not wearing her wedding ring and commented, "Where's your wedding band? It's so beautiful, I would never take it off." Barnes was quick to respond, and with an attempt to reassure her follower, she said, "I was washing it," in the reply that was published online. Despite if this action was true or not, Rocky Barnes has been subject to critical surveillance by her followers, and therefore an intimate part of her private life. And it has come under surveillance to her physical appearance, the removal of the wedding ring. The conversation the influencer records to camera can be seen as a type of performance, one that has already been and previously identified as needing to be authentic, to be relatable to their target audience, but also realistic enough that encourage their viewers to remain engaged. So whilst they recorded gestures, and see De Rosa in 2018 for further study on this, of applying makeup to the face or body, it becomes rhythmic and eye-catching to the viewer to engage in. Audio for the video content is also important to consider here, and whether visual social media such as Instagram tends to focus on images over text, TikTok prioritizes sound over images. So spoken audio, that one-way conversation conducted by the influencer as they apply makeup to the body or dress themselves to camera, often contains details of their daily lives, plans for the day ahead, between highlighting products and why they are beneficial for the consumer. So here, beauty influencers are putting themselves at risk for sharing details online that could be utilised by scammers or indeed watched by potential stalkers. Influencers have been subject to online harassment due to the topics and subject areas that they share. The concept of oversharing has a negative impact despite the intention for the influencer to come across more authentic to their audiences. So camera performance is highly relevant here because the context of discussions taking place online in public platforms like TikTok and Instagram, but also the idea of the camera being positioned in a vertical 1080 by 1920, the ideal aspect ratio for TikTok, position the influencer to appear as though they are talking directly to the viewer. Typically demonstrated in Get Ready With Me videos, the influencer will maintain direct eye contact with the audience so that the viewer engages this one-way conversation with themselves and the content creator. Traditional forms of marketing and authenticity are challenged here by influencers. The videos that become viral on social media platforms such as TikTok and Instagram have proven to strongly influence consumer culture. Briefly, steering away from beauty influencers to highlight the energy-branded sports drink Prime. So Prime was first promoted on TikTok in 2022 and challenged traditional forms of advertisement by the soft drinks ambassadors and creators Logan Paul and KSI. At the time of writing, with a combined 14 million followers online, the social media influencers launched Prime with the intention for the drink to aid hydration. As stock sold out in supermarkets like Aldi and Sainsbury's, the drink has since been listed and brought on eBay for reportedly £3,000. Demonstrating the impact that social media influencers can directly have on their followers turned consumers by discussing the product directly to camera and deploying the video publicly online themselves. So online purchases have increased due to the direct engagement with brand ambassadors and influencers publishing videos explaining the use of the quality of the product. This also points towards the changing relationship between product and brand. So through this shift, the product becomes more the physical item and the idea of an effective relationship. Consumer culture has shaped our own identities, as Hall 1990 suggests, the notion that we do not just have one identity, but the influence of online and offline spaces have challenged our perception of a shared culture. So, in this research, topics of self-identity, relationships, social media cultures with audiences, surveillance culture have all been explored in order to unpack the complex concept of intimacy in the digital age and how we, as a shared culture, may now consciously or unconsciously challenge forms of intimacy through the media content that's published online, how it's consumed, and how it's shared. Follow us on Instagram, on YouTube. The QR code goes to a direct link. Thank you for listening to Share Sync Talks. I've been Esmé Spurling, and we'll see you next time.